Hey, welcome back to another episode of It's a Football Thing. As always, I'm your host, RJ, and I'm joined by my fellow co hosts, champion mates, Scott the Gooner, Rob the Red Devil. How are we this evening, gents? Scott, I'll go to you first.
Yeah. Look, all things considered, not too bad, mate. Not too bad.
Not
Plodding
too
along.
bad.
Nah, not too bad. Not too good. I'm just here, mate. I've just rocked up. I'm here. I'm ready.
Robbie?
Mate, football has taken my soul the last 2 days. I'm starting a petition for tonight's show to be it's a footy thing or it's a F1 thing because football has just sucked the life out of me, mate.
I tell you what, it should be It's a Footy Thing. It's on at the moment. We're obviously big footy fans for those watching from overseas. We watch rugby league, or we call it footy down here, but obviously, tonight's affairs are specifically the international football. It's a football thing. And tonight's episode, we're going to go through some of the midweek Premier League action. There were some big results. Scott, I don't think you'll be too pleased with one of them. But we've also got a couple of big Champions League results as well. And poor Robbie, as he said, he's been whacked a couple of times and would be feeling it. But you know what? It's a bit of a yin-yang thing. Some of us here are quite happy, so maybe we'll get a little bit of balance here. But Scott, I believe we've got a few people in the house that have joined us this evening.
Yeah. We've got Tom in here from the United Pubcast. I know they've been doing some great stuff lately, so good evening, Tom. We've got Marty in here as well. Marty, he'd be one happy spud, I'm sure, at the moment. And I'm sure a couple more of our old mates will jump in shortly. But let's get straight into the action, boys. The night is young. So are we, but there's plenty of action we've got to cover. Let's start with the Champions League. I think the best way, Robbie, would be to get your torment and heartbreak out the way, and then you can sit back and enjoy my torment. But I did say on the stream that I could see Unai Emery's team frustrating and getting a good result, and they did. Mate, we're going to chuck it straight to you. You take your pick. Do you want to talk about United crashing out? Or do you want to talk about Juventus getting schooled?
Look, mate, I'll run over both of them, to be honest. I'll start with yesterday's game, United one, because that one it's already kind of left my memory, so I've got to go back and track back a little bit. Thanks for that. But look, it all went down to first thing in the morning, seeing the lineup. I was so pumped for this game, and it was an excitement thing because I'm like, I really, as I said the other night, I really thought we could get this over the line, especially at Old Trafford. Obviously Ronaldo just come off the back of a hat trick. A bit of a confidence booster for everyone. But seeing that lineup, I was talking to RJ. He popped around to my house yesterday and saying, as soon as I seen that lineup, straight away, it just kind of took a bit out of me. I just wasn't happy. I seen Harry Maguire starting there. Didn't like that. Would have preferred Victor Lindelof partnering Varane. Seen McFred in midfield. And I have to take my hat off to them. They were actually, especially in the first half, both of them were quite good. And I expected. I had a look at the Atletico lineup, and I seen they were line up 3-5-2, and I just thought we're absolutely going to get steamrolled in midfield. And look, the absolute opposite happened. I was quite surprised of how good we started. We really looked like that first half an hour of when Real first took over against Palace. We were pressing high, we're winning the ball, playing high intensity. We're having a real go. Really unlucky. Alanga. Pretty much point blank hits
What a save. What a save.
Oblak gets his head in the way, literally had no idea what was happening. Just out of all places, it hits his head. But look, quality save at the end of the day. And in the first half, Atletico really didn't offer anything. There was a bit of a snapshot from 20 yards out at one point when I think it was DePaul had a shot, and that was going in without a great save from David. And then, they started creeping in again. They got that goal that was ruled offside just by about a foot, which was really well worked. And then, obviously, we got that was a bit of our warning. 5 minutes later, they ended up getting us, mate. Back post was free and a nice header from them. They went up 1-0. And as soon as that happened, we all knew, I think, that breaking down Atletico Madrid, mate, is one hell of a job. And the second half, thinking that we'd go for it. Well, in the end, we did go for it in the personnel-wise, throwing all the attackers on, but we were really bad. I don't even know if we really even had a shot on target in the whole second half. So, look.
Rob, what do you make of this comment from Pranav? He's gone and called out Bruno. Now, I'm going to put my hands up and say I didn't get to watch this one live. I've seen highlights, but, mate, I didn't see very much in the way of highlights for Bruno.
No, he's exactly right. I was calling him out during the game too. I don't like to call Bruno out very much, but this game here, I was so disappointed. And probably I was actually really happy when he actually got the hook because he just didn't do nothing. And look, I love the guy. It was a big game. I really would have liked him to step up a little bit more, but he was just all over the place. And, it's really doing my head in at the moment. A game like that, or it's just constant whinging at the referee all the time. Just win on the football pitch, especially when we're losing 1-0, So, look, knife to the dagger really hurts. United season's pretty much done and dusted now. Like I said, there is a chance still in top 4. But like I said, if we continue to look at how we've been all season, I think that's over. Quickly on Juve, there was another one that this game here, I don't know if anyone caught this, is, a typical smash and grab, this one.
I did see it, Rob. I just saw the scoreline and I was just blown away. I couldn't believe it.
Honestly, smash and grab, but the 3-0, this happened in the last 10 minutes of the game. I think Juventus completely dominated. Hit the crossbar. Imagine the goalkeeper became Superman in this game. Honestly, I think Villarreal's goalkeeper, he just doesn't like my teams because he was like that against United when we played him. He was again today. He was Superman. Second half, again, I think the first time Villarreal got in our box was the 78th minute. What happens? We concede a penalty. Obviously, and it was the right call. They had to go to VAR. Very soft, but it was a penalty. 1-0 up. A couple minutes later, we concede again off a corner. And then, look, right towards the end, United kind of done the Juve, mate. Juve done a bit of a United. I think we had 4 strikers on. Got done on the break. It was actually good. Delit kind of saved him, but actually handballed it in the time from a thing. So another penalty to finish the game off. So 3-0 looks terrible, but this was just bang, 10 minutes, bang, bang, bang. And that's a massive
This is what Emery does, man. He's
honestly,
to me, he's so underrated. I think his time at Arsenal was cut too short. In saying that, Arteta's doing a good job, but mate, this is what Emery is renowned for. He'll grind out results. He'll frustrate. He'll do what he has to do. I want to ask you though, RJ, speaking about frustrating and some of the dark arts of football, Tom put a good comment in the chat. He said in the last 33 minutes of the match, the ball's in play for 11 minutes. Atletico basically accusing Atletico of, some footballing dark arts. And we know this is what they do. It's no secret. What's your reaction to that though, RJ? Is it on United to find a way around that? And Tommy's been graceful, but just what are your thoughts on those dark arts?
It's frustrating, man. I don't like it. It's very unsportsmanlike. But at the end of the day, if the system allows you to get away with it, then you've got to take your hat off and accept it. And the team, United, whoever they're versing, you've got to rise above it. We know their strategy. We know that's the way they like to play. But like Rob said, they had their chances in the first half. They were on top. They didn't make it count. They let a pretty sloppy goal in. It was just really poor defending, like just a lapse in concentration. And ultimately, Atletico do what they do best. They're super pragmatic. We know the score, but the dark arts, I think we probably have different views. I know you're probably more accepting, but for me, it's just another one of those things like bad refereeing, dark arts. It's one of those things you've just got to be good enough to rise above that. And unfortunately for United, they just weren't. And that comment about Ronaldo, the thing is, this was the first game, I believe, in a decade he didn't get a shot on target. Mr. Champions League didn't. And it's not just him. He was part of it, of course, but he was very quiet. Bruno was quiet. I did watch it, as well. But you got to also give credit to Atletico as well for putting in a pretty good defensive display on top of the dark arts.
Well said.
Well, what about
Lil?
I had to get your thoughts on this quickly. What did you make at the end when Simeone's running off and they're hurling stuff at him? Is that just part of the game? Because he didn't make a thing of it.
Look, man, if people are going to make a massive deal of that, I think it's crazy, man. Like, I seen a video today from, again, I'm not throwing it out there, but I seen the Chelsea fans over there in Lille today absolutely running amok against the Coppers and stuff like that. It's just people frustration. Look, it's wrong, but that's
we
part
got
of
tear gas tonight for it.
Well, I'm sure we've all been to games before. Like I know me personally, I've yelled at the referee. I've had a go at someone. If you haven't done it, I haven't thrown anything, but mate, it's just frustrating.
Hey Rob, Tuchel got criticised for over celebrating against Newcastle, saying why is he over celebrating? They scored a last minute week.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Why? Of course. But that's what I mean.
Don't bring that game up. We've got Paul in here, we've got Shane in here. And we all know, as Paul had said from the Tomb Review, good friend of ours, we love his work. They were robbed, mate. Don't worry, we're going to get there because there was a very good penalty shout. Once
You know
again,
what?
Chelsea,
I agree with that quickly. Like the other night,
favourable
when we covered
treatment,
it,
man.
I didn't see the game, and it wasn't until I seen Alan Shearer. I seen him on BT Sport absolutely blowing up about him. Like, oh, we didn't cover this the other night. So, and yeah, me personally, quickly, I thought that's a dead set stonewall penalty as well.
Oh, we did cover it, and the foul started outside the box. So if they're going to be technical, he should have been fouled before he got in the box.
Scumbags.
And
The
red
FA
card
is
is
covering
definitely
Chelsea.
not. So
you always
look,
get protected
they
by the
copped
FA.
a bad call. Yeah, okay. Definitely, especially in the League Cup final. But anyway, look, I do feel sorry for Newcastle. I actually said on the record, I'd hate it if it happened to my team. And I actually blamed, again, the inconsistent refereeing. It's not good enough. So, look, I feel sorry for them, but at the same time, you've copped your good calls, we've copped our bad calls. You just hope they iron themselves out. But we'll see.
Mate, look, I think collectively we can all agree with Paul. They were robbed. The paupers beat the richest club in the league, and we move on. We move on. But quickly, RJ, I know we were kind of saying on on Tuesday, that the match against Lille was a bit of a dead rubber. But they started brightly, and it was a good result for Chelsea in the end. Just give us a little summary of that.
Yeah, no, it was. It was one of those games where I thought Lille started off quite aggressively. They're a tough team. Full credit to their fans for bringing a lot of passion to the for the occasion. So Lille started off quite well. Jorginho, look, what I'll say about him is this wasn't one of his best games. He gave away possession twice, which led to a chance. Then the penalty was unfortunate. It was a handball. But to his credit, he did then bounce back with a very nice assist for Captain America, which that was the turning point of the game. 1-0 at half time. As I said to you guys the other day, if they scored, it would make things interesting. But because we hit them with a sucker punch right on the stroke of half time, 2 goals back, effectively killed the game. But then to our credit, we could have easily sat back and just accepted the draw. But we went on. Mason Mount came on, gave an assist for Azpilicueta, who's been a bit of a stalwart for us. So a nice win to build a bit of momentum, and now we're in the quarterfinals. And you know what? I have every bit of confidence now that we can continue to go as far as we can.
Sometimes adversity can really bring that squad together.
100%.
I'm going to make my call now. Chelsea are winning the Champions League back to back.
You're trying to
hold on,
something bad, mate.
Look, can't argue against that, man. I'm too scared to say the same thing because I think it's
said it last year.
I'm secretly
Robbie
hoping they get like Bayern or something. I'm hoping in the next round because I'm scared about it. I genuinely am. I think they could do it again.
Mate, they are together at the moment. I saw just quickly on an off kind of comment, RJ. I saw an interaction that a friend of ours, Dan Hill, a lot of people know Dan. He's been on here before, good friend of ours.
Yeah.
Saw him put a comment out pretty much saying that if Tuchel, I think it was something along the lines of, if Tuchel wins this Champions League, does that make him Chelsea's greatest ever manager already?
Yeah, he said that, yeah.
Where are you on that? Because, I mean, I can't look past Mourinho.
That's a good point. And just in this, I'll get your thoughts on it as well, boys. But the question is, what makes a manager most successful? Is it Premier League wins? Is it Champions League wins? Is it a bit of just surpassing expectation? Because Mourinho, and I wrote an article about this, ranking our best managers based on who's won something. We got Ancelotti, who done the double. Conte, obviously, has won the Premier League and FA Cup. But Mourinho's won 3 Premier Leagues. He's won 3 Premier Leagues for Chelsea, and even on his second return came back and won it, but he failed in Europe. Whereas Tuchel, now he's won in his first season, albeit came in halfway, and he didn't quite win at the Champions League on his own, but still guided us to it. If he can navigate us through this season and we were to somehow go on and win it, adding that to our Super Cup and Club World Cup, he's definitely on track. I'd still say it's too early. Even if we won back-to-back Champions League, it's still not good enough for me to definitively say he's our best ever manager. I think you still need to win a Premier League to have that accolade, in my opinion.
Well said. Robbie, I know you had a couple more quick points on the Champions League. Not all of our clubs are in that comp, mate, so let's not give it too much more time. Let's get them out of the way.
Just quickly, I don't know if anyone saw the big upset, Benfica. I think we should give them a quick applaud. It says, to win 1-0 away at Ajax. I think they definitely the underdog. And I said the UA game was a smash and grab, mate. This one here was definitely a smash and grab. I think it was nearly one shot on target. They scored a header, but
Poor
that is a massive.
goalkeeping, Robbie. That was poor goalkeeping for
It
that
was,
goal.
but that is a massive exit, mate. And look, this just quickly, this is why I love the Champions League as it is quickly, because stories like this, Benfica in the top 8, who would have seen, or even a perfect example is Villarreal. They never made a cup final ever till last year, got to the Europa League final, won their first ever trophy, made it through the group stages, just knocked out Juventus, which is, a big boy. Now they're in the last 8. So that's why I like the Champions League how it is, and that whole Super League stuff was just in the bin for me, because you don't get stories like this, man. This is what we want to see in football.
Well said, Robbie. Look, let's move on to the Premier League, though. This is the, to me, it's the big ticket item. It's the one that's hardest to win. Again, personal opinion.
That's so cheeky. I like that, because you haven't won the Champions League.
That's right. It's not important, mate. It's a small cup, Mickey Mouse Cup. But we did see, in all seriousness, Man City.
The Big Ears Cup.
Man City gets seriously frustrated by a very resilient Crystal Palace. And this is not the first little blip that they've had against those small teams, but credit to Palace. And a little bit nervous for City, because we're about to go into the Arsenal-Liverpool game, because now we've got a title race on our hands, boys. We've got 1 point, I think, between these two juggernauts. And I think we can all agree, when we look at Liverpool and we look at City, that they are a cut above our teams, that they are by far a cut above. I don't know how this is going to go, but boys, what did you think of City just dropping them points? How shocked were you, Rob? You're on mute, mate. I like when you're on mute, but you're on mute.
Sorry, mate. Yeah, I am. I was shocked, man, especially knowing how close Liverpool are. Massive drop points for them. And look, I think if you ask any footballer, they'd say that they prefer to be the hunter than be the hunted, mate. Because when you're hunting someone down, you can see the goal to get to. City are kind of just swimming above water at the moment, and I think we know that they will fear Liverpool, man. They've had a couple of big games, and Liverpool's always been their one that's knocked them out of the Champions League, that's knocked them about in the Premier League, because they know that they'll go head to head with them. They're not scared, and they'll go and outscore them if they can. So with that game to come in, I think, a couple of weeks' time, I think City cannot drop any more points from now. So, and they'll be very, very scared.
RJ, quickly, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think so. I've got to agree with Rob. It's now they're nervous. City, remember, they got to rest some players for Champions League. A couple of weeks ago, you wind back to a stream, and it's pretty much about definitely City's to lose. They could basically rest in the Premier League because of the cushion, but now they've had that.
I just take the knife out of my heart, Anthony.
Exactly. Forza Inter, hey? But you know what? It makes it exciting for the neutral to see it this way. I thought cheeky, they tried to be optimistic and group us in on that, but it's so far behind. But you know what? It's nice for the integrity of the competition to have at least two teams going for it. Although, it'd be nice to have a few more competing. But it's good to see not just the top 2, top 3, now the top 4, top 5. There's a lot to play for on many levels. So that's what makes it very interesting.
Yeah, just quickly, boys. How did Liverpool catch up this quick? That's what you go back a month ago, and we all said that City had their hand on the trophy. I felt like they were 20 points in front of everyone. Now it's 1 point. How did this close the gap so quickly? I don't feel like City's dropped that many points.
I think we all thought that Liverpool would seriously struggle in the AFCON period, but they got through that quietly and resiliently. I'll do this just for Marty because
and they also got through it as well because they also had a convenient false positive case and got a bit of rest here and there throughout AFCON period, which is interesting in itself.
Football's dark arts, right? Football's dark arts. We spoke about these, but I want to get on to them and this morning's match. It started, and I feel like I say this every time we play one of the big boys now, it started quite brightly. At no point during the first half did I think we've got this easily or we're way all over them, but we were competitive. We were really, really competitive. It was such a tense midfield battle. I can't remember the last match I saw where the midfield was there was such an aggressive press. Every time one of the centre midfielders in either team had the ball, you had 2 or 3 closing in on them straight away. So it was a very intense match. Diego Jota, who has become a bit of a pantomime villain for Arsenal, he's starting to move into that category of Wayne Rooney or Drogba, who always score against us no matter what. But he took his goal well. Poor keeping from Ramsdale, who has been magnificent all season. But every keeper's going to make those blunders at some point, and I would classify it as a blunder. You shouldn't be getting beat at your near post like that. He got an arm to it. It wasn't a strong enough arm. So I think once that went in, we panicked a little bit. And then when they brought Salah and Firmino on, God, what subs to bring on, it wasn't going to happen. Fair play to Liverpool. They're a cut above us. That's why they're competing for titles and we're fighting for 4th. So good game. We have moments. Martinelli, for me, again, magnificent. Ran rings around Trent Alexander-Arnold all game. Henderson did a great job helping to shut him down, but Martinelli shone for me. He honestly shone, and he got plaudits from Kane, Robinson. They all came out speaking about him after the match. He's going to be an absolute world beater. I've no fear that this kid's going to go all the way. So, frustrating result for us, but there were some positives, and we move on to Villa. I don't know if you caught the game. I think you watched it, RJ, or parts of it. Oh, no, Lil was on, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was a little distracted, but in all seriousness, I did watch parts of it, and as I said afterwards, it was all yellow based on who won both games. But you're fair comments, Scott. But again, Liverpool, just like you said, they are cut above the rest. But also, I think that might be downplaying how maybe perhaps ineffective Arsenal were in front of goal, because they have shown this time and time again, Liverpool, that they can be gotten to. They aren't perfect. Defensively, they have leaked a few goals. You guys just weren't good enough on the day to break them down, and that's just the reality. They were on, you were off. Martinelli was your bright spark. As I said in our group chat, I do wonder, do you have an opportunity to maybe get Emile Smith-Rowe in there in the starting lineup? But you said you've got Odegaard, he deserves it on form. But remember, when we had our debate about the team of the season, this guy made it somehow. So 100%. If you can make the league team of the season, how can you not make Arsenal's starting lineup? So
it's funny because Odegaard kicked in. He kicked into just this magnificent patch of form, maybe 5 matches ago, and he's been our best player in basically all of those matches. This morning it didn't happen, but I do think we'll see Emile Smith-Rowe start against Villa, because for me, Saka looked absolutely busted. And Martinelli would be busted after that. So I wouldn't be shocked to see Emile Smith-Rowe in the starting lineup again. So, Robbie, did you catch anything?
No, mate, I was too busy crying over Juve. I did see the goals, just on the 3-minute highlights. Nice goal, nice little finish by Firmino as well. Look, you know me, mate, I wanted you guys to get a result in that game. I didn't want Liverpool to close the gap anymore, especially at I really thought, like I said, especially at the Emirates, you guys could have dug a little bit harder. Again, I didn't get to see the whole game, so I can't comment on it, but unlucky. That's one out of the 3 or that you're in front that you've lost. So for us, it gives us that.
Good for you.
That little bit of hope, that does. Like, I know, like I said, you guys still got Chelsea and Spurs. I still think you can get a result in one of them, but every time you lose another game, that gives us that little bit extra hope for top 4.
Which one, Robbie?
I think Spurs, they can get a result definitely in that one.
Well, speaking of them, I put a poll in, boys, in the live chat saying, do the recent results change your top 4 prediction? Who takes 4th? Manchester United, 8% of the vote. That's just 8, not more than that. Arsenal, 50% of the vote. Spurs, 25%. And 17% to other. I'd love to know if you voted for other, who you believe will sneak it. But yeah, interesting poll results. I'm not shocked with those. RJ, do they shock you?
So what were the numbers for Arsenal? 50%, or I think it's 46% now.
46 now. I think one of you just voted. I saw you.
I tell you what, I didn't vote Arsenal. That's for sure.
I voted for Arsenal, mate.
Nah, they're going to bottle the next 2 games now. They're finished, mate. They're a washed-up club. No, look, they're still our favourites. But again, as I said again in our group chat, we really get a better picture once they play their catch-up games. They're in a not a commanding position, but are in a beneficial position. It's anyone's game at the moment. So, but Arsenal, to their credit, they've made it this far. We'll just see if they've got the stones to continue with it.
Before we get on to Spurs, I just want to call Emad out for talking absolute dross. Sancho better than Martinelli and Saka. Yeah, 3 goals, 3 assists, mate. That's
Keep it clean this time, guys. We've scared Tom away. He's never coming back on the show after that.
3 goals, 3 assists. Not fit to tie either of their boots, mate. I wouldn't even trust him to clean their boots. He's that hopeless. But let's move on. Let's not digress. Because Spurs, one part of London was a little bit upset this morning, but the other part was quite happy. A solid 2-0 win over Brighton. And they're looking good. They were going win, loss, but now it's 2 wins on the trot.
Is that, or is it? No, they lost
3.
No, they lost against us. So it's been win, loss, win, loss, win, loss.
Oh, they did too.
Yeah, we beat them. I said it was going to be the roller coaster effect, and it's still going the series. So yeah, they lost against us. I said they're going to beat Brighton, and they did. And beating Brighton is, it's not an easy feat. We all know that Potter sets up the boys well. So look, 2-0 against Brighton, keeping a clean sheet, and a really nice finish from Harry Kane at the end. I did see that one. Again, and they're right back in it, man. I think they're 2 points behind us with a game in hand or something. So they're still in the race.
Yeah. Look at that. It looks like something my 2-year-old would type on my laptop. Do you think, RJ, that this Spurs team are really going to make a solid push for 4th, or do you see their form continuing to look like this, which won't get
them? They're making a push, mate. They're making a push. That win against United then this morning, they backed it up. I know we keep saying it, I'm probably going to swallow my own words, but there's just something in this team that they've got enough firepower when they need it. They're just so hot and cold. I just think Conte, that shouldn't be dismissed. There's enough quality in that team to make a push, especially with Arsenal and United with their inconsistencies. I think West Ham's probably just a touch too far now. So, yeah, I very much expect them to make a big play. They've got nothing to lose now.
Who'd have thought all we needed was a Conte tantrum? That's all they needed. They needed a tantrum and a sulk and a manager to embarrass himself, and it's worked. Boys, we've got some predictions to do because I know that race is heating up. I'd love to know a score update, but I know Daniel's not with us tonight, so we'll have to find that out for Tuesday. But we do have some predictions to do. In a moment, I'm going to ask you boys to start predicting, but I just wanted to draw your attention to these because I thought this was kind of funny. Mikel Arteta, I don't know if you saw his press conference this morning. Did either of you see the reaction?
When he had the whinge about the fixtures or something?
Yeah. He came out because they've done our catch-up fixtures. We play Chelsea and we play Man United 3 days apart. 3 days apart. Now, even the teams that played in the Champions League get more than 3 days rest.
Dude, the exact same thing happens to us. We've got Liverpool 3 days before Arsenal now. The exact same thing literally happened to us.
Now, for me, I'm actually not going to stick up for Arteta on this because it has happened to other clubs and we'd be hypocrites to whinge about it. But I think that showed that he's maybe feeling a little bit of that pressure because he came out, he said something, I've got some quotes here. He said, thanks to the Premier League for that. Thank you. He goes, they talk about BT, they talk about Sky, but it's always Arsenal. It's always Arsenal. Now, is this him trying to get a bit of that siege mentality? Maybe doing a bit of a Conte sook and whinge and everyone's against us? Because to me, that scheduling's nuts. They're 2 massive games 3 days apart. But, yeah, he was interesting comments. Do you have any issues with the fixtures, boys? As neutrals, pretend you're neutral?
Not really, because it's happened to a lot of other clubs, like you said. In this environment, it's unusual. Some teams have had the break, some teams have had COVID disruptions, blah, 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 multiple competition. You just run with it. At least you guys have a bus to get to your next game. Kai Havertz is paying for us to get there.
He shout. Maybe we can sponsor the bus. It might be some good exposure for the pod.
I reckon.
Yeah, it was interesting. I thought it was very interesting. Let's jump into some fixtures. The first one, and I'll chuck them up, is Everton hosting Newcastle. Newcastle. In some side news on that, I'm not sure if you guys saw, Frank's tactical masterstroke has been to get plastic flags put on all the seats, to have some supporters come and tell the team stories before the match, and to be playing some music to intimidate Newcastle's players. Reeks of desperation, reeks of immaturity and inexperience, reeks of a manager who's about to taste relegation. Do you have any issue with Frank's antics, RJ? Do you think it looks ridiculous and embarrassing?
Oh, we'll judge after the game, but what do you do if your team you've walked into has been a flop all season and you've sacked an experienced Champions League manager, and they've brought this guy in and you can see the confidence is low? You just keep doing the same thing? That sounds like the definition of insanity to me, to try to get a different outcome. So in the modern day football, mate, whatever you try, you're better off than not doing anything different. So we'll see what happens, but he's going to be up against it. Newcastle, they've bought about 25 new players. If they're not going to play better by now, they never will. So, yeah, Everton's going to struggle, I think.
Prediction?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I think this one will be a draw. I don't know. Newcastle's a better team, better form, better confidence, blah, blah, blah. I just think Everton getting super desperate will pull something out of this. So lock me in for a 1-1.
Robbie?
I think Newcastle will get this one over the line, to be honest. Maybe not the biggest fans, but I have to give them credit. They've really got themselves out of that relegation battle, and they're moving up the table quite rapidly. So I think they'll do this 2-1 as well.
Paul doesn't like your prediction, RJ. He's
No
not going to
bias
like
there,
mine
mate.
either.
No bias there, definitely.
Paul, I have to say, and I'm going to try tune in. I think, I'm not sure if you're streaming tomorrow morning, but if you are, I'm going to try tune in. I love hearing what you guys
You've got to get
have
us
to
on,
say.
mate. We've got to tell him straight facts about how to act with proper etiquette. Now that you've got your nouveau riche, Paul, you've got the new money, you need to start acting like a big
club.
money club now. Exactly.
Absolutely. But look, for me, I'm going 1-1 as well. I think Newcastle are going to be so intimidated by the plastic flags, the scary music, and the pensioners who have been season ticket holders for 40 years. The stories they're going to tell are going to fire Everton up way more than Frank could. So I think they'll come out and fight. 1-1 for me. There you go. If anyone's interested in watching that, there'll be a watch along on Paul's channel. We might have to think about that week where Arsenal play you guys within 3 days. That's going to be mental on this channel. I don't know what we're going to do. I'm either going to go missing or you two are going to go missing. It's going to be mental, boys. Mental.
Right. The show must go on, though, Scott.
Oh, we'll see. If we lose both, I'm not coming on. I'm taking a week off. Stress leave.
Week.
Wolves hosting Leeds. Robbie, how's this one going to play out?
I don't know. I think this is not going to be as easy as I think most people would think. I'm going to go for a draw in this one too, to be honest. I'm going to go 1-1 from this.
I like that scoreline tonight. I'm going 1-1 as well. Leeds slowly starting to look like they're improving. Arj?
Yeah, I think so. I was going to say Wolves 1-0 being safe, and Marty's obviously gone down that route. But I don't know. I just think Leeds have had a bit of a mini resurgence themselves, and it will be good enough for a goal. I think so.
This new manager is really trying to tighten them up at the back, and they do have goals in that team. Rafina, Bamford, Daniel James even been chipping in. They have got goals. So if they tighten up at the back, man, and they do sneak a goal here or there, they've been going all right the last couple of weeks since he's come in. So I'll stay with the draw as well.
Paul's on fire tonight, mate. He's having a go. He's gone swinging.
Yeah, that's a good.
I tipped Newcastle, mate. What are you on about?
Yeah, you also tipped him to get relegated, mate. Remember that?
Yeah, I've already eaten my humble pie, mate, so it's done.
Oh, look, I'm hoping I'm not eating any humble pie from this match because Villa hosting Arsenal, they have been scoring goals at the moment. And I'm just hoping we can forget this Liverpool match and refine the form from before that. I would love to see a sticker to Emi Martinez because he talks about us nonstop. It drives me nuts. I think we'll have a strong team. I think Emile Smith-Rowe will come in and make a big difference. I'm going to go with an Arsenal win, but it won't be easy. I'm going 1-0 late winner. What about you, RJ?
No, I can't see Aston Villa not scoring here at home. I don't know. I expect Arsenal to bounce back after that game as well. So you know what? I actually think this will be surprise, surprise. I have to say I'm going to go for another draw. I'm doing it 1-1. I just think it's going to be hard to separate for me.
Robbie?
Yeah, look, I agree with RJ as well. And I'm tipping with my head because I want to keep that lead in the tipping comp, and I think Villa have a goal in them, and I think Arsenal might take a little bit of a little bit come down back to earth after that Liverpool game, and yeah, for United we need them to drop points again, so I'll go for a 1-1 as well.
Fair enough. Interesting tips, boys. Leicester, the Foxes hosting the Bees. What do you think is going to happen here, RJ?
I think I think Leicester at home, they've been playing a little bit better. I do expect them to get a well-earned win here against a tough Bees. Don't trust them to get a clean sheet though, so I think it will be 2-1 to the Foxes.
Robbie?
I'm actually going to sacrifice a point in this one. I'm going to go for the upset. I really like Brentford. I'm going to go for a 1-0 to the Bees. I really like Brentford. I've been saying it all year, and I think they're just about, maybe 1 or 2 games more winning, and they should be confirmed to stay in the Premier League, and I love that. So 1-0 Brentford.
Well, look, we have been on the fence all night, so I'm going to maintain the trend. I'm going to go for 1-1 draw in this one because someone has to do it. The Watford-Everton match has been postponed, so that won't be happening. But the last one we are going to look at, a huge London derby, huge match. Spurs at home against West Ham. Robbie, I'm going to ask you to go first just to buy me time.
What Spurs are we going to get? This one, if you go past the win-loss, this is supposed to be a loss.
Which Spurs will we get?
I don't know. I don't know because I said West Ham's not out of the equation either. If they win, they're still in that equation as well. So I just don't see them winning this game. But I could say a result. I am going to go for Spurs, but I think they might get this over the line just 2-1 Spurs. But this should actually be a crack of a game.
God, I hate that I'm agreeing with you. I hate that I have to agree with you, but I think Spurs will take them. West Ham, for me, I've been saying for a long time, I think they'll fall off, and they've got to start falling off eventually, or I'm going to look silly. So 2-1 to the Spuds for me.
That front three of Spurs have really, really linked up. Kulusevski, Kane, and Son. Every single week, they're brother on the score sheet or assisting every game since they've been there together. So they're really linking up well.
Arch?
You know what? I'm going to have to disagree. I do think that we're not giving enough credit to how good West Ham have been overall. And they had a very good win against Aston Villa too. Let's not forget that. Villa's no clown team to be mucked around with. And I do think, 3-0. I can't see them getting a clean sheet against them. But look, for me, I reckon this will be West Ham win. I'm going with that. I know I said they're in for a top 4 shout, but I'm not saying that Spurs are going to have a perfect record from now to the end of the season. I actually think West Ham are going to walk away with this one 2-1.
Well, that would be massive away.
I would love that to be the case. Would love it. Boys, I'm not sure if I've missed anything that we had covered in the agenda. We've spoken about United crashing out of Europe. We've talked about Liverpool, Arsenal, the rest of the Champions League action. I'll have to add in a big congratulations to Mitch Duke, called up into the Aussie team for their crucial matches. We had him on here the other week, and you could hear how passionate
We're his favourite podcast show, Scott, now, obviously.
Remember, if he scores, he's going to put up the big 3 for the IF team, mate.
That's it. That's what we want to see. If he forgets, then we'll just never have him on, and I'm sure he'll be heartbroken not to spend more time with us. But, big congrats to him. But have I missed anything, boys, or is it quickfire time?
I just want to make the announcement that because Chelsea are still in the Champions League in the quarterfinals, we have the announcement, I think, on Friday, tomorrow. So there are 8 teams left. Atletico, Bayern, Benfica, ourselves, Liverpool, City, Real Madrid, and of course, Villarreal there. But it's going to be tough. I'm quite keen to see what this draw looks like. Any quick thoughts about who you think who will get who, or we'll save that for next week when it actually gets released?
City will get the easy draw.
I actually think Chelsea will. I actually think Chelsea will get Benfica or Villarreal, if I'm being honest. I really do think that. Because I'm scared about your predictions, Scott. I really think if Chelsea get to the semi-final, I would not count them out to win back-to-back, mate. But yeah, look, I'm secretly hoping it's like a Chelsea Bayern, just because that'd be a great game.
I would love to see it.
Chelsea Bayern.
Chelsea will beat them.
Who else is like a Liverpool City? I think one of the English teams think they'll draw each other as well. I'd like to see Liverpool City go at it again as well.
Look, to me, it's Liverpool or Chelsea winning this. I'm either going Chelsea to take the Champions League or Liverpool to do the double Premier League and Champions League. But
can you imagine that story either way? Like, can you imagine if Liverpool, the way they've started, gone and basically resurrected, won the double? Or Chelsea in their sanctions crisis situation somehow retained the Champions League. That would be an absolutely freakish story, but still a long way to go before we talk any of that.
Look at this comment from Eddie, boys. Don't know how you lads scammed Duke to be on the show, mate. It's good looks and talent and a lot of
He
work.
He begged us to come on, Eddie.
Yeah,
he's a good mate of ours now, mate.
That's it, Eddie. And if you want to stay our good mate, we don't want to hear those kind of things, man. It's all love here, hey? We're going to get Thierry Henry soon enough. You wait and see. Let's do these quick fires, boys. I've only got one tonight. I've been really hopeless. The boys are heading out. We're going to watch The Batman tomorrow night, so don't put any spoilers in the comments. This was one of the questions we asked on one of our very first podcasts, well before YouTube. But I'm going to resurrect it, bring it back. Which superhero, Marvel, DC, wherever you want, which superhero is your absolute favorite of all? Just one.
Gun to my head, I'll probably have to say Iron Man. I'm a big Marvel fan, and out of them, if I had to pick one of them, the Avengers, I'd probably go Iron Man. Robert Downey Jr.
RJ?
Such a tough question, man. I don't know, because I was thinking supervillain, but you're saying superhero. Who would I say? Tough choice. Buy me a sec, Scott. You have yours. I know you've got your answer.
For me, it's I can't pick between two, so I'm going to cheat to my own question. Always been a big Spider-Man fan, even as a kid, and I used to.
Which one?
Oh, look, don't care. I love them all, mate. Probably, yeah. I quite like Tom Holland as Spider-Man, but.
Yeah, I think Tom Holland was the best Spider-Man, but it was hard for me to choose out of Iron Man or Batman, to be honest. But because when I was a kid, Batman was like it for me. I had the whole Batman.
X-Men. I loved the X-Men as a kid, and for me, I always resonated with Wolverine because he was just grumpy, mate. He was always grumpy. So for me, it's either Wolverine or Spider-Man. I can't pick between the two. What about you, Arch?
Yeah, for me, Wolverine for sure, because I used to look like him, obviously, in my own mind. No, he was an unbelievable actor, unbelievable character, super healing powers. What's not to like about him?
Claws, like what more do you want? That's me done, boys. I only had the one.
Yeah, I think I've only got one tonight. Just quickly, but before I give my quick fire, another movie came out on Netflix last night. With can't remember who's in it now. The Adam Project. It's a good watch. It's got Ryan Reynolds, a few others, Zoe Santana, a few other good players. That was a really good movie. Not bad. It's a bit of a futuristic movie, but definitely worth a watch. And my quick fire tonight, boys. It's a bit of a random one. Who will retire first, Messi or Ronaldo?
Oh, Ronaldo. If they were the same age, I would say Messi because he's not a fighter like Ronaldo, but given the couple of years that Ronnie has, I would say him.
He's not a fighter based on some subjective criteria. Anyway, I would say, actually, yeah, there's 3 age difference. I still think it'd be a bold call to say Ronaldo's going to keep playing, but you just can't put it past him.
See,
I don't
know, to be honest. I know they've got the 3 gap, but I could see Ronaldo like a Buffon kind of thing. I could see him playing till he was 40 or something. And I don't know, just this situation with Messi at PSG, like, the other day, not just him, all of them.
Back to Barcelona, Robbie, I heard.
You know what? I think that could be a possibility if they can work out money, because I just don't think he's going to be happy at PSG. And if he leaves PSG, I don't know where else he would go, to be honest. So
how would you take him back? They're trying to move in. they've gone through that hard period of Messi's gone. We need to start to improve. They're starting to look a little bit better. Why the hell would you go back and bring him in? I think it would really throw the chemistry to bring someone like that
I
back.
think
This
it's a
isn't
fair call,
even,
but I don't
yeah,
know. I
no
think it's,
agenda. This is just honest.
yeah, no, I'm the same. I think it's I can't see him staying at PSG maybe another year, but he doesn't look happy there. The fans are turning on him. I really don't know, man, and it'll be interesting if he came out and said I'll take a massive pay cut, like really, really, because he loves the club. I could definitely see it happening and see him, performing back there again, because him and Barcelona were just a love story, man.
Interesting.
It's true. That's a very good question, actually. And I wouldn't be surprised if he was to outlast him, because Messi might have thought, I've already won 7 Ballon d'Ors. Ronnie won't catch me now. But in all seriousness, when you play one every 8 games and score a hat-trick, then what else can you do? Jokes aside, he's an unbelievable athlete. Let's respect him. My question, lads, is it's not superhero related. It's actually football related. It's a football thing, as we know. Who is the most skillful player you've ever seen? Skillful.
Alive?
No, just watching on TV.
Ronaldinho has to take the cake, surely, on this one.
Yeah, look, probably for me, on there, it's hard to go past Ronaldinho as well, but just to add a twist on it, live, someone who was just ruined by injuries, Abu Diaby, for his size. I don't know if you guys remember him, because his career was just, he had that awful leg break and didn't come back, but for his size and physique, I remember watching him live, and his control and movement of the ball, the way he would just move it with ease. Yeah, he's just a side kind of random answer, I thought I'd add.
He was a bit of a violent player, Scott, from England.
Yeah, remember that time Terry dived into his boot and almost broke his toe?
Disgraceful conduct, My player, so Ronaldinho would be the answer, but I think a bit of a dark horse option here. You might remember this fellow, Bolton Wanderers, JJ Okocha. How good was he? Do you remember that? Oh, here we go, Tom. Tom said it as well. That's freakish. That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Top player.
Big shout.
Look, boys, it's been a cracker of a show. It's been great fun tonight. There is an international break coming up, so we will let you know about next week's schedule and what's happening, because we are conscious that the Socceroos are playing on Thursday evening, and I'm sure we all want to cheer on Big Dukes. But let's just see. Let's see what happens with that. We'll let you know via our socials if you should expect us or not. But we hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful weekend with your families. Enjoy your football. May all of your teams be prosperous, except Marty and Alex's. Any final words from you, RJ?
No, not really. I'm just prepared for another weekend. I'm working on a juicy personal opinion piece on my Chelsea situation. Another day in the life of being a Blues fan. So let's stay tuned for that one.
Love it. What about you, Rob?
Yeah, just quickly, look, we haven't really advertised it or said much about it, but next weekend, United Supporters Club and the Chelsea Sydney Supporters Club are having a charity game. I'm not sure if Tom's still in here or RJ. If we want to drop a link in, we'll definitely do it on Tuesday night. If anyone wants to chuck in a few bucks for charity, all the proceeds go to the food bank, help people out in Manchester and all, I think in ACT and all around New South Wales to get fed that are homeless. So yeah, it should be a good game. I'll be down there. I think RJ and Tom might be on the field possibly, but it's all for quality and all for charity, boys. So if you got a few bucks, chuck them in. There'll be a big help.
Great cause, boys. Great cause. Look, we've absolutely loved your company. A big thank you to all of you in the live chat. On your way out, before we hit end stream, if you haven't clicked the like button yet or you haven't subscribed for some crazy reason, make sure you get that done. But until then, enjoy your weekend of football. Take care, everybody.